Okay, I'm going to try to do a companion video for my article on turning a bowl without a chuck. I am not going to do it the same way as I did it in the article because I can't figure out a way to mount the camera so that you'd be able to see what was going on if I did it that way. In the article I did a single mount bowl where the blank was mounted, and I turned most of the outside from the headstock side, then hollowed it out, and the only time it was reversed was with the tailstock in order to turn off the foot. If I do that, I'll be turning over here and you won't be able to see, so I'm going to do one of the other methods. There's lots of ways to do it. I happen to have this blank. It's mulberry. I bought it at a wood show 2 or 3 weeks ago. The edges are sealed. I don't know how dry the wood is. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, you can tell by looking how dry it is. It's got this nice section of sapwood in the side that I would like to retain, but I'm not too sure about this. That looks like the inner bark and a cambium layer. I'm not sure how well that will look in the finished product, so I may wind up turning that section away. But so this, if I want that to stay in the bowl, then this has to be the top of the bowl pretty much. So that makes this the bottom. One method that I could use would be to screw a faceplate directly onto the top of the bowl, screw it onto the chuck, turn the outside, and then glue it to a waste block mounted on a faceplate in order to hollow the inside. That's one way of doing it. I don't think I'm going to do it that way. I'm thinking maybe I'll turn it between centers to start with and do most of the outside between centers, and then just turn it around and glue it onto a waste block to turn the inside, and then put it back on a jam chuck to turn the foot. So in order to mount it between centers, of course, you got to find the centers. That's a nice bandsawed round, probably better than it would be if I'd done it. So I'll just use this center finding square. These pegs go up against the round rim, and this edge gives me the center. And just to see how round it is, oh my goodness, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. It's definitely better than I would have been able to do it. So I'll just make a punch mark there in the average of the 4 lines for the headstock or tailstock center to seat on. Right, don't go away. And I'll turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. My goodness, that's the same line. That pretty much is too. Well, that didn't really come out on center, but we'll see how it works. Alright, I don't actually use a Morse taper. I have a drive center that fits into my chuck. And since we're not using the chuck, I can't use that one. This is the one that came with the lathe. It does look like it's been used. I'm surprised at that it was ever used. So that Morse taper may not just be the cleanest because I don't use it. So I've got this, it's a plastic of some kind with spiral cleaners on it, blades. It's a Morse taper cleaner, so I'll just make sure that Morse taper is clean before we start. Put that back away so I know where it is the next time I want it. Another thing, this is a nut. It's just a generic nut that happens to fit the threads on my headstock. When I'm using a Morse taper, I kind of like to protect the threads, so I just throw that nut on there. Another advantage is the hole in the nut's smaller than that center, so if I back that off, it pops the center out, and I don't have to get my knockout bar out to drive it out from the other side. So I'll bring the tailstock up and see how close we are to being anywhere near center here. This isn't a tailstock. And this tailstock doesn't have the live center in it. Alright, now we're ready. I said I wanted that to be the top of the bowl, so that goes towards the headstock. Okay, that's not very good at the moment. I want that I'm just watching the gap here, see where I get, that's about the point where it's the closest. So if I hold it on the headstock center and back that off a bit and try and put some pressure on there while I drive it back in, I'm locked on the headstock there. Oh, that sure didn't improve anything. We'll try that again. I may have to make a whole new hole there, if I can. There, I think I made a difference that time. That's not bad. I think we'll go with that, so I'll just tighten that up a bit.